What is going on, everybody? My name is Eric, and you are listening to another exciting episode of the Unlockables podcast. The story of video games, the people who play them, and the memories made along the way. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. If this is your first week, or your 9th week, I believe this is, or 10th week if you count episode 0. Who knows? But I appreciate you tuning in wherever, whenever in time and space you might be located, and just spending a little bit of your valuable time with us each and every week. I really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to have you check in and just see how I'm doing, how everyone's doing, and just to hear stories about video games. First and foremost, one quick housekeeping note. I haven't done this because I've had some guests on the last couple of weeks, some incredible guests. So if you haven't went back and listened to those episodes, I would definitely recommend doing that. There's some awesome conversations about people's memories and emotions around video games. So if you haven't gotten the chance to check out some of those earlier episodes, I've got some great friends, great guests that came on and were absolutely incredible. So go check that out. Second thing, as I always try to do, if you enjoy the theme song / opening intro to the Unlockables podcast, I have to thank my incredibly talented, I like to say my incredibly talented friends, even though I don't personally know them, but thank the guys over at Hyper Potions. They create incredible music, and the barriers to use their music in your creative projects are usually pretty low. You normally just have to email them, purchase the song, and give them a shout out on whatever, or at least attribute the song to them. And I've been using Time Trials Plus, a song from Sonic Mania, in my intro since I started this project. So go and check them out. The song and their channel are linked in the description of the show notes, and their music's absolutely incredible. They do so much great stuff. Go check it out, and they're really friendly. So, like I said, link in the description of the show notes. Definitely go and check them out. Give them the love that they definitely deserve. Enough housekeeping things. I'm running solo this week because some things happened. First of all, I want to wish everybody an incredibly happy Easter. And of course, the unofficial holiday coming up. Happy 420, everybody. You know, it's just kind of a funny week. You know, you got a holier holiday on Sunday, and then Wednesday you've got not that weed is unholy, but I've just been telling people, you know, praise it and blaze it. That's what that, you know, you praise it on Sunday, you blaze it on Wednesday, and that's that's the theme of this week. I have no idea what I'm even saying, but yeah, happy Easter, happy 420 if that's the kind of thing that you celebrate. I don't even know, but we're talking about something incredibly exciting on this episode. If anybody at all knows me or has listened to the show, you already know. It's not a surprise. We got some really incredible news over the weekend. Actually, it's about a week ago. I'm putting this episode out a week after all of this information came to light. So it's a little bit of a delayed reaction, but it's allowed me to kind of distill my thoughts and calm down a little bit and not just freak out constantly on the show, because it's literally what I was doing all day Sunday when the news broke and this happened. So if you know, you know, right? There was a 20th anniversary event over the weekend before Easter for Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is officially 20 years old, celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. And there was a big old celebration. There was a live event. There was music. There were presentations. Tetsuya Nomura and Yoko Shimomura gave onstage presentations and talked a little bit about the history of the series. And this was all capped off by a trailer showing us the future of Kingdom Hearts. And we learned some absolutely incredible things. First off, we're getting the conclusion to Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, the long running alongside Union Cross, which is not running anymore, single player story, giving us a little bit more history about Master Xehanort and his role in the series and his relationship with Master Ericus. If you haven't played the games, these names aren't going to mean anything to you, but I'm going to talk about like you know what I'm talking about anyways, because if I stop to explain every little thing, we would never get anywhere with this episode. And that's not what I want. I have some news regarding the story of Kingdom Hearts a little bit later in the show, and those of you that follow me already know the news. I released something over the weekend that I'm extremely excited to get to work on. So we got news about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. That mobile game will be coming to a close. There's a new mobile game in development that is going to have a closed beta in 2022, and this one is called Kingdom Hearts Missing Links. This appears to continue the tradition of some kind of mobile gacha game. It's taking place in Scala ad Caelum, which is the end area of Kingdom Hearts 3. And I can't go into all the lore stuff, but Scala is a very important landmark, important area in Kingdom Hearts lore. It looks like it'll be taking place there, so it'll be exciting to spend more time there and continue to unravel the secrets of that area. And that game looks completely different. If you were to compare Dark Road and Missing Links side by side, Dark Road is like a flat 2D kind of weird chibi style game, and Missing Links appears to be a fully realized 3D game. Looks pretty incredible. I might try and get into the closed beta, but I don't know if it'll honestly be worth it. I might just wait till that game comes out. Got a TBD for that one. Dark Road, the end of that story, is concluding in the fall of this year. So that'll be interesting. If you are behind on that or haven't gotten a chance to play that, I know that I'm behind on it, so I have to go back and catch up with that before it goes away, because once it goes away, I'm assuming it'll probably just be gone, or that they'll wrap it up and they just won't have any more updates for it, and just that type of game will exist. Dark Road is different than Union Cross, because Union Cross was like a online gacha game where you were in factions and you were collecting light and you were competing against people, and it had PvP elements. So that game shut down and you can't really play that game anymore because it was very much an online service game. I believe you can still download the game and like watch the cutscenes, but I don't think you can actually play the actual game, because there were raids every week. There was PvP competitions every week. There was a Coliseum where you fight against other players. It had all of those mechanics to it, and it's gone now. Really, that's not the most important thing, because if you've been following the story of Kingdom Hearts, the most important thing is the lore you're getting from that mobile game. And you better believe, just because it's a mobile game doesn't mean it does not have important lore in it. The lore for the mobile game is, of course, integral to understand what the hell is going on in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it looks like what was just announced, the most exciting thing out of these announcements, is the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 4. You guys were not, I was not on the air. I was not doing podcasts when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. I had a different podcast on the build up to Kingdom Hearts 3, but you guys never got to, and I talk about it a lot on the show because it's one of my favorite games. I've never really gone into the rabbit hole and just gone full insane mode regarding Kingdom Hearts on the show. So this is going to be the first time that you guys get to experience just peak insane Eric, and that's just a taste of how insane and ravenous the community is around this game, and we're going to be getting into that. So strap yourselves in. This is going to be quite an adventure. So let's break down I introduced everything. Let's break down and look at everything that's been going on, all the announcements and the hype around Kingdom Hearts 4. But I think to truly appreciate that, we'll just go over a brief history of all the games that have come out, and I'll lay them out in chronological order. And you can just see kind of how insane it is to understand all the lore of this game. Hold on to your seats, strap yourselves in. This is going to get a little bit crazy. We've gotten the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4. It's going to be the start of a new arc of Sora's story, of the Kingdom Hearts story. Before we get into that, though, I want to briefly remind you, if you're not familiar with how many of these games there actually are, there are more than 4 of them. There are quite a bit more than 4 of them. There's 4 mainline games, but I would argue that if you were just to play Like, let's say we're 4 years in the future and Kingdom Hearts 4 is out. You would not be able to play Kingdom Hearts 1 through 4 and have a full appreciation of what is actually going on. I don't think that would be possible because, unlike Kingdom Hearts' counterpart, Final Fantasy, most of these stories are not self-contained. This is a continuous story that's been told over 20 years, over dozens of different games, over tons of different consoles. So it's really hard to, if you don't, which this is the reason they released so many of these games and these collections leading up to 3, why they did the 1.5, 2.5 remix, why they did the story so far, so you could experience all of these games in one place before playing 3. 3 came out in 2019. If you wanted to fully experience the story of Kingdom Hearts, you would have had to have played games going back to 2002 that were on the PS2, the Game Boy Advance, the DS, the PSP, the 3DS, mobile, PS4, Switch, if you wanted to experience all these games. That's insane. It's absolutely nuts. They didn't do a good job for themselves or the fans making it easy to go back and play these games, especially when your story is as complicated as Kingdom Hearts. So let's just go and take a quick look at these games that came out. Starting off, Kingdom Hearts 1 officially, but there's no 1 in front of it. Kingdom Hearts 2002, the original game, came out. Disney and Square's weird fusion of Final Fantasy and Disney characters. Very strange. An idea that has no right to work, but if the last couple of days or weeks taught us anything, it's created a game that people are super passionate about, almost to the point of insanity. I've backed off a little bit of my insanity over the past few years after completing 3, thankfully. But I feel the pull now that there's 4 officially confirmed. I feel the pull. I was like, I'm done. I want to be done. I want to walk away. I'm happy with the way it is, but man, it's just you don't just stop. You can't. So it's Kingdom Hearts, the first Kingdom Hearts in 2002. The follow-up to that game was not, believe it or not, Kingdom Hearts 2. It was a game called Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories that came out in 2004 on the Game Boy Advance. This was a 2D side-scroller, and this is the most unique of all the Kingdom Hearts games because this is a deck-building game. And the way it is your attack commands are associated with a card in your deck, and the cards have numbers on them from 1 to 9 and 0. And depending on how you put the cards together and their scores that add up, you're able to do different moves. Certain cards have priority, like if you throw out a 9, your opponent throws out a 7, your attack has priority over your opponent. They can't break it. They can't do anything. That's just a very, very simple introduction to the card-based battle mechanics in that game. And it's certainly the most unique Kingdom Hearts game out of all of them because no other game really revisits those mechanics throughout the series. This game, I'm not sure exactly when it came out, or the GBA game came out in 2004. I'm sorry, there's so many thoughts about Kingdom Hearts running through my head right now. So the game came out for GBA in 2004 and was remade in full 3D a few years later. I want to say I believe I've seen it for the PS2, but there is a full 3D version of Chain of Memories. I think it's called RE or Rechain of Memories on some of the Kingdom Hearts collections. So that I would say that is the way that probably most people have experienced those games, especially if you jumped into the series later in later games. I have an official original launch copy of Chain of Memories. It's one of the few old GBA games that I still have that I said I would never get rid of. And I have a Game Boy Advance SP, so I'm going to have to go back and play that for sure. So if you're looking for a good way to play that one, just definitely go and get one of the collections and play the Rechain of Memories. Don't try and get a GBA copy. You know, the 3D version is probably better than that. Then we get to Kingdom Hearts 2, 2005. And I think these release dates I wrote down are Japanese release dates when they originally came out. It doesn't really matter. It was around, I would say, any release date I give is like a year span between it coming out in Japan and coming out in the United States until we get to more modern titles where they were just releasing everything all at the same time. Got Kingdom Hearts 2, 2005, which Chain of Memories sets up that story on PS2. This is where shit starts to get a little bit crazy. There's a game in 2008 that came out, which was Kingdom Hearts Coded, and it was a Japanese exclusive mobile game, which was then released in 2010 on the Nintendo DS as Kingdom Hearts Recoded. And it kind of tells the story of the immediate aftermath of Kingdom Hearts 2 and those stories. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. It definitely sets up Birth by Sleep, but yeah. Then you have Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. And that was in 2009 for the DS. I, to this day, am not 100% sure how you pronounce the name of this game. It's officially written out Kingdom Hearts 358/2 days. Some people I've heard it pronounced Kingdom Hearts 358 days over 2. Some people I've heard it pronounced Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. The most common pronunciation, one I've gone to, is Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. It's for the Nintendo DS. This follows the story of Roxas and his time in Organization 13. It's kind of a prequel to the events that happened in Kingdom Hearts 2. So if you're trying to follow the timeline, the events that happen in Chain of Memories and the events that happen in 358 over 2 days are kind of happening concurrently, because both of those games reference things that are going on in the other one. After that, you have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep in 2010, which is for the PSP, PlayStation Portable, which is one of the better Kingdom Hearts games for sure. And it's one of the most important lore-wise, because it's in this game that basically sets up the rest of the overarching arc for the rest of the first Kingdom Hearts series, which is called the Dark Seeker Saga. So Birth by Sleep is a critically important game and is split up into the story of 3 protagonists, Terra, Aqua, and Ven. And this is where we first kind of encounter, to a full extent, the overarching villain of Kingdom Hearts, the original saga, Master Xehanort. Birth by Sleep is paramountly important to the story of Kingdom Hearts. It's very important. After this, we have Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance in 2012, which is the sequel to... Jesus, this sounds stupid, just me talking about it. Dream Drop Distance is the exact sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. It's not the exact sequel because Kingdom Hearts 3 is, but Dream Drop Distance is the chronological sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. It explores the events that happen after 2. And it came out on the 3DS. Dream Drop Distance 3DS. Stupid naming convention, but that's what it is. And this follows the continuing journeys of Sora and Riku. God damn it. Having vomit of the word mouth, because this just thinking about this story is crushing my brain. It follows the adventures of Sora and Riku in their quest to become Keyblade Masters to prepare for the end. It pretty much directly sets up Kingdom Hearts 3, sort of. So after Dream Drop Distance, you have the debut of Kingdom Hearts Union X, which is the mobile game. And the mobile game covers the events that took place way before Kingdom Hearts and the original Kingdom Hearts and Birth by Sleep. Like the original stuff, like ancient history of what happened in Kingdom Hearts. In Birth by Sleep and the subsequent games, they reference this giant conflict that basically destroyed the universe called the Keyblade War. Union X is the story. It's called Union Cross, but it's spelled Union X. I'm going to just call it Union X. Tells the story of the Keyblade War and introduces us to some key players who have been kind of operating in the shadows in the background throughout the entire story, and tries to give an overarching framework to the entire Kingdom Hearts lore. Originally, this game was not called Union X. It was called... What was it? It was Kingdom Hearts... Yeah, it was originally called Unchained X. X being the Greek letter key, Keyblade, a lot of symbolism there. Trust me, this podcast would be 17,000 hours long if I went into all the lore. So we got that. It was rebranded to Union Cross, and Dark Road was launched debuted alongside of it. Not debuted alongside of it, but Union Cross came out in 2015. Dark Road came out in 2020, and that kind of told the story of a younger Master Xehanort to start fitting his story into the overarching plot of Kingdom Hearts. Union Cross is done. Dark Road is wrapping up. Those are coming to a close. Let's go to 2017. And this isn't a standalone release per se, but in 2017, they released Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue for the PS4. This game had Dream Drop Distance on it, remastered Dream Drop Distance that you could play on a PS4 console, but it had two very important pieces of Kingdom Hearts media on it that were brand new. It had Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, which details what happens to Aqua in the aftermath of Birth by Sleep to prepare you for Kingdom Hearts 3, and has Kingdom Hearts Cross back cover, which is about an hour 15 long movie that details the events that happen in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Not all of them, but most of them. It covers the events of the Keyblade War in an animated cinematic movie, similar to how they did a movie for the Final Fantasy 15 release. And that's interesting because we get a lot of information from that movie that I think that's their way of just, because the events of the mobile game and the movie influence what happens in 3, I think they were just like, listen, not everybody's going to play the mobile game or sink the time into it to get the full story. Let's just put this movie out there. It's fine. And then we come to 2019 and the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, and then 2020 with the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 that released on PlayStation, Xbox. It's now on PC. Most of the games are on PC now, I believe. And that's where kind of the story left off. And we had Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories in 2020 for the Switch, which is a rhythm game. But don't be deceived because it's not just a rhythm game. Of course, there's lore, important story bits in a freaking rhythm game. Just because, of course, there is. Why else would there not be? Why would there not be? It's absolutely insane. Listen, I love these games so much. But it's just insane when you start talking about it out loud. It's absolutely nuts. So that brings us to the announcements of the 20th anniversary, where they announced the end of Dark Road, which will wrap up Xehanort's story in that particular mobile game. They announced Kingdom Hearts Missing Links, which is a mobile game coming out that will cover some kind of events happening in Scala. I'm sure it'll be important to what happens in Kingdom Hearts 4. That's just how it is. And they announced, of course, Kingdom Hearts 4. At least I'll attempt to break down, not fully, because there's members of the community that have already done incredible trailer breakdowns, and people have already discovered things that are just absolutely insane. And I'll mention a few of them once we cover that. The official synopsis of the trailer is as follows. In the announcement trailer, Sora makes a triumphant return with an updated look at the beginning of an epic new storyline titled The Lost Master Arc. Beginning with Sora facing off in a boss battle against a giant enemy, players are introduced to the Quadratum, a large expansive city set in a gorgeous realistic world unlike anything ever seen before in the Kingdom Hearts series. Fans will be excited to see the return of Sora's well-known companions Donald and Goofy, in addition to the first appearance of Strelitzia, a mysterious new character who appears before Sora in this strange new setting. Not that mysterious. She was in the mobile game. We'll won't get into that right now. If you're a diehard of the series, you'll know who she is. You just don't know why she's there, because with the way her story ended, it's like, okay, how are they going to connect this? But this is the beginning of the Lost Master arc. What does this mean? There's a figure that we get introduced to in Union Cross who is considered the first Keyblade master, the original master, and his name that he's known by, his only name that he is known by, is the Master of Masters. Master of Masters. MOM. Mom. The community calls him for short, because Master of Masters is just fucking stupid. I'm not going to say it over and over. So basically, at the start of the mobile game, the Master of Masters has what's called the Book of Prophecies. The Book of Prophecies foretells all the events that happen up into the Keyblade War and the destruction of the world. What he does is, I guess, it's discovered in the mobile game that the book foretold his demise, that he would be gone one day. And so he gave a copy of the Book of Prophecies to each of his 6 apprentices and made them the new masters to guide the factions of the world to collect light and protect the light, which is where the gacha mobile game aspect of the mobile game comes into, where you're joining different factions, you're collecting and scoring points, blah, 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 whatever. And then the Master of Master disappears. He's gone. Nobody knows why to this day. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows where. He shows up at very specific, important, key moments throughout the entire series. And nobody really knows why. Nobody knows what his motivation is. Nobody knows what he's doing, what his end goals are, because he kind of takes a back seat to Master Xehanort, who's the main bad guy in the original series. So this story is going to cover what became of him, I'm hoping, because it's called the Lost Master arc. And he was shown at the end of 3 in the final trailer of what happened in that game. And I personally haven't played the Remind DLC of 3 yet, but I'm sure there's more elaborating on like what's going on with that story. So it starts out, Sora wakes up. Gone are the big ass goofy shoes. Sora has actual normal sized feet, which is terrifying to think about. He wakes up. He was basically told by this girl that opens the door, who is Strelitzia, that he's been in this world for 7 days. He's been asleep. And this is the world of Quadratum, which, if you don't know this, the world of Quadratum is basically modeled after the Shibuya district in Japan, in Tokyo. It's got famous for like its 4-way crosswalks and all that stuff. I believe it's a Shibuya district. I might have butchered the name. I'm sorry, but it's modeled after that real life district. And this also debuted at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. He wakes up. It's a real life world. There's cars, there's people, there's cell phones, there's people running around. He looks drastically different than he does. I mean, Sora's pretty much iconically known for his spiky hair. In this trailer we got, it's a little more, not to say like padded down, but his hairstyle closely resembles that of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. It's very, very similar. And basically what happens is we're told cryptic stuff that's not going to mean anything to anybody, but the trailer basically ends with a giant Heartless spawning in the middle of the city, Sora jumping into action, showing off some really, really crazy, awesome new parkour combat mechanics. Kind of like a Spider-Man keychain thing that he can like shoot out to kind of get around and scale buildings. There's one shot of him running down a building that's collapsing, jumping around inside of it. It looks absolutely insane. And then, of course, at the end of it, we get a couple people in the signature Kingdom Hearts black cloaks. They're obviously going to be important. Not sure if they're, the Master of Masters or the Foretellers or whoever they are. They're somebody. And of course, people have combed through this trailer frame by frame to dissect everything already. Because of course they have, right? Because of course they have. They figured out already that the language and the markings on the cars of license plates, on street signs, on buildings are the same markings of the language of Scala, the last area in Kingdom Hearts 3. So like obviously Nomura, as cryptic as he is like making all these connections. So there's obviously a connection to what happened at the end of 3, to 4, why they're here, and there's a bunch of other stuff too. Oh, Donald and Goofy are back too. They're obviously looking for a way to get Sora back because he's gone. That's as much as we can gather from the trailer. They're looking for somebody. There's been a lot of speculation that it's Hades, that it's the Hercules world, because he's the god of the underworld. There's speculation that, Sora's like dead or in some kind of afterlife. There's a lot of layers because you can never take anything at face value in this series, especially when Nomura's involved, because it's very complicated. There's different worlds. There's the realm of light. There's the realm of darkness. There's the worlds in between. There's the realm of sleep. There's like everything is very layered. You thought the Marvel multiverse was getting insane. It ain't got shit on the Kingdom Hearts universe. Like seriously. So all this was very interesting. All this was very exciting. The game, for being early in development, looks stunning. It looks so beautiful. It looks so realistic and lifelike. It's absolutely insane. And it is being developed on Unreal Engine 4. But they will transition it to Unreal Engine 5, which just released officially not that long ago, I believe. And that won't be that hard because what I've read in the press releases and all that stuff about Unreal is if you have current projects in 4, they're very easy to transfer over to Unreal Engine 5. And if you've seen any of the tech demos of 5, like, holy shit, it looks incredible. Like, it's absolutely nuts how amazing stuff looks in Unreal Engine 5. They had a Matrix tech demo come out with it. So if you haven't gone and seen that, I don't know if you can still download it, but it's nuts. It's absolutely stunning. So I wrote down a couple of things, just like initial thoughts, and I've covered a few of them already. So kicking off new arc, Lost Masters arc, referencing the Master of Masters and the Foretellers. This was all set up by the mobile game and 3, Remind and Melody of Memory, obviously. So that's very clearly established that that's things we can determine right off the bat. Like I said, Noctis called. He wants his hairstyle back. Sora's design is eerily similar to the protagonist of Final Fantasy 15. The clothes, the hairstyle, and it just seems like it's that kind of world. So that'll be interesting. I wonder if we'll be seeing Noctis make an appearance or some other Final Fantasy characters, which I think they definitely need to bring that back because Kingdom Hearts 3 got rid of that completely. There were no Final Fantasy tie-ins to Kingdom Hearts 3 at all. It was solely Disney stuff. That was it. Which is disappointing because the coolest part about Kingdom Hearts to me was seeing some of these Final Fantasy characters. Cloud was in there and Sephiroth and Squall, Yuffie, Aerith, all those. And to just get rid of that completely was super disappointing, especially with you haven't had a new mainline Kingdom Hearts game in 10 years, 13 years when 9 came out, when 3 came out. And, there had been a lot of games since then. You had Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 15. So there were opportunities there to have Sora interact with Noctis, with Lightning, with, I know 13 was kind of panned, but I would have liked to have seen Sora interact with Lightning. I think that would be very interesting and kind of probably she'd just be annoyed and pissed off at him for how annoying he is. Or to interact with Noctis, who, has a similar story arc to him, I guess, kind of, as a chosen warrior of light, which is, a central motif for all Final Fantasy games. So, yeah, speaking of Final Fantasy, if you've dug into any of the stuff in Nomura's past too, you might remember a little game called Final Fantasy Versus 13, which eventually became 15 because reasons, but not exactly. There were original trailers and demos for Final Fantasy Versus 13, and a lot of the stuff that he put in 3, some of that stuff, like especially some secret boss fights in Remind, characters like Yozora, very reminiscent of stuff that was going on for Versus 13. And the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer kind of continues this trend. It feels very much like Nomura revived his dead Versus 13 project and is kind of bringing it into Kingdom Hearts. It sounds like he didn't get his Versus 13 project, so this is his way of using those ideas in a way that he finds creative. Whether or not that's a great idea, I don't know, but I feel like this is the direction this is going, because I had multiple people tell me when I was freaking out on Sunday that Nomura isn't directing the Final Fantasy Remake Part 2, or he isn't a part of that, or he's not as heavily involved with it as he was with the first one. So it sounds like he's shifting all of his attention to Kingdom Hearts, and maybe he's going to start to explore some of these ideas he had with Versus 13 in the Kingdom Hearts series. I mean, it's very obvious that he's done this in 3 and Remind from what I've seen of it, and just kind of seeing the general consensus of people online, this is what he's doing with 4 as well. I mean, just look how real this world is. Look at Sora's design, which it was confirmed that Sora only looks like that because that's the world he's in, or at least that's kind of the speculation, because depending on where he travels in his adventure, he has a tendency to change form, change shape, change what he does, right? He has a tendency to be a toy when he goes to Toy Story World. He has a tendency to be a half mermaid person when he visits the Little Mermaid world in Kingdom Hearts 1. He has a tendency to get Halloween get up when he visits the Nightmare Before Christmas world. So, I mean, it could be very much that he just looks like that to fit in with the world, as that's his job as a Keyblade wielder, is to fit in with the world and not, disrupt any balance that might be there. So, but that's interesting. And there's just a lot already on the internet of people putting out trailer analysis videos, like 2-hour trailer analysis videos, and connecting it to a million different things. And this is something I love about the Kingdom Hearts fan base. And it's something I also drives me insane, because they're going to spend, and by there, I mean me also, they're going to spend the next 3 to 4 years, however long it is before this game comes out, because I would be willing to bet it doesn't come out. I would say minimum 3 years. I would say minimum 3 years, at least. And that's being optimistic. I would say probably more realistically 4 or 5. Being optimistic. We'll have to see, though. Maybe they got their stuff ironed out with it. Maybe they'll figure it out. Who knows? I don't even remember the original point I was making now, because my mind is just blown. Oh, the people making analysis trailers. People are going to do this until this game comes out, and they're going to connect it to literally everything. There's going to be like a 4-hour analysis trailer of like why this small detail in 3 connects to 4, and this all that stuff. There's already a black box in play that nobody knows like what's in the black box. There are all this other stuff about what everybody's doing that nobody has any idea what's going on, how it ties in, what's actually happening to Sora. Like, ugh. And that might be answered in Remind and in Melody of Memories. Like I said, I haven't played those. So we have to see. There's a lot going on, but it is a very exciting time. And this is just a small dose of how insane I can get. And it's only going to get more insane, I feel, because if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I put out a trailer for a new series I'm going to be debuting on this feed through the Unlockables. I'm calling it Guiding Keys, the story of Kingdom Hearts. And I can't believe I'm going to, but I'm going to go back and deep dive and replay with very heavy analysis every single Kingdom Hearts game that has come out to date. Maybe, God willing, I'll finish by the release of 4, who knows, and attempt to tell the story as a cohesive plot all together as I go through the games and play all of them. That's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. There are certain things that I can't fully play and experience, at least not to my knowledge. The mobile game now only exists as cutscenes and as a movie. And so I'll probably have to do my best analysis on that, not having played it. I don't have a copy of Recoded, and my understanding is that Recoded copies are not very common, but Recoded was compiled on one of the collections as a collection of cutscene movies. Same thing with 358 over 2 days, but I actually have a copy of 358 over 2 days. So I'll be watching the back cover movie and doing an analysis on that. I'll be trying to stitch together some kind of cohesive story across all of the things that have come out so far. And I'll probably be dedicating an episode to each one. And they're going to be lengthy episodes as I sit here and try to figure out everything that's going on, because there's a lot of crazy stuff. The later games involve time travel. That always gets a little bit sticky. There's a lot of proper nouns, the weird things that are named. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be super fun, and I think it'll be really entertaining for you guys to watch me slowly slip into madness. But I want to do it because I haven't really played the whole series since 3 came out, and I think it's time for a replay, especially with 4 coming up. And of course, this will, make me play Remind DLC. It'll make me play Melody of Memories, because as much as I don't want to play a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game, I think it's unavoidable at this point, and I need to do it to do the story justice, at least for this podcast. So that'll be coming. I'm very excited about that, and you guys seemed relatively excited about it too. I don't know if it's the fact that you actually care about the overarching story of Kingdom Hearts, or you're just excited to see me lose my mind as I try to explain the story of an absolute madman who wrote this. But it should be a good time, and I always have a lot of strong positive emotions when it comes to Kingdom Hearts and it comes to the series. So when I'm passionate about something, it's when I feel like I do my best work, and I'm very passionate about these series of games. So hopefully that leads to an enjoyable listening experience to everybody, despite the fact that by the 3rd game, you're going to be like, wait, who the fuck are all these people? What are we doing? What's a Xehanort? What? Excuse me? He's 14 guys, but he's also one guy. Excuse me? He time traveled from the past as his younger self. What? So yeah, get ready. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be insane, and that should be a lot of fun. As soon as I clean up some stuff from this month, next month I fully intend to start playing Kingdom Hearts 1 to chronicle my experience and journeys through that. And then as soon as I play Kingdom Hearts 1, I'll put together an episode and put that out, and we'll go on. And we're going to play the games. I'm still debating this, but I think it's best to play the games in which they were chronologically released, because trying to play them in event timeline order in the series, I just don't think would make any sense unless you're already kind of steeped in the lore. And I would imagine that most everybody that'll be listening isn't as steeped in the lore as I am. So I'm going to be playing them in chronological order. And that way I can kind of build off of prior events as things happen, right? As the way the story was originally told. So we'll be obviously starting off Kingdom Hearts 1. Then we'll go to Chain of Memories. We'll go to 2. We'll play Figure Out Coded 358 over 2 days. And I'm not looking at my sheet right now, so I don't remember the order. But we'll play all the way up through the most recent thing, Melody of Memories, and the conclusion of Dark Road. So that's what we'll be doing with that show, and I'm really excited to get started on that. And it's just kind of perfect timing, because I wasn't expecting them to announce 4 when I announced this show. I made that trailer you guys saw on Twitter at like 11 p.m. at night in like an ice cream and Pepsi fueled like sugar rush, because I just had inspiration. I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, look for that to be coming. Kingdom Hearts Guiding Keys. That'll be really exciting, I think. And I think that'll be a fun experience for everybody. And maybe it'll even inspire some people to take a look at the series and just kind of see the wacky insanity it is, because there's nothing really like it in all of video games. It doesn't have any right to exist. It doesn't have any right to be as popular as it is. I mean, these games have sold 30, 40 million units like together. It's, it's not by any means a franchise that isn't successful as far as I know. So yeah, look for that to be coming in the relatively near future. Guiding Keys, the story of Kingdom Hearts. The name, again, it won't make sense unless you're in the lore. One of the common greetings or goodbyes amongst people that have the Keyblade is, or just people in general, I guess, it's may your heart be your guiding key. And it's the stupidest, most corniest thing, right? But I thought that Guiding Keys was a good name for it, because I will be attempting to guide everyone through the insanity that is the story of Kingdom Hearts. So I liked it. I thought it was good. I put together a quick logo. I might go back and redo the logo to something a little bit nicer I like, but that's what's going to be happening. And it should be a great time. It should be a fantastic time. And hopefully, if I time it all out right, that might take us up to Kingdom Hearts 4. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how crazy I get about all these, or if doing so makes me so crazy that I can't physically do the podcast anymore. Don't actually know. All right, before we go, seeing that I am running the show solo this week, I thought that this would be a prime opportunity to bring back everybody's favorite segment, Pokédex Please. This week we've got a little bit more familiar of a entry than most. I think that most people will probably be familiar with this Pokemon, considering that it's relatively common and jokes are made about it on a regular basis. It is the fire type from Generation 2 Magcargo. Is basically a giant fire snail slug monster. Standing 2 foot 7 inches tall and is roughly weighing 121 pounds. So like about the size of a like skinny teenager, I guess. I don't know. I'm a giant overweight adult now. So I don't know what the way things weigh now. Roughly like 2 of my dog Sora. So I don't know why I'm trying to quantify Magcargo's weight with real life things, but not that will mean anything to anybody. But so Magcargo, Generation 2 Fire Slug, and I wouldn't say that the Pokédex entry for this Pokemon is like messed up in any way. It's not like horrifically horrifying. It's more of just like that can't be real, or if it is real, if Magcargo actually existed, just everyone would be dead instantaneously. So the Pokédex entry for Magcargo comes from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is originally Generation 4, remade, I guess it's part of Generation 9, whatever the Sword and Shield generation is now officially. But just anyways, this is where the Pokédex entry comes from. Its body temperature is roughly 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Flames burst from gaps in its shell made of hardened magma. Let me tell you something. 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit is hotter than the surface of the sun. It's hotter than the surface of the sun. And for reference, let's just look up the surface of the sun. Just see what it is. The surface of the sun is 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So Magcargo's skin temperature is 7,000 degrees hotter than the surface of the sun. There's some speculation here that this might mean it's Magcargo's internal body temperature is 18,000 degrees, which, that's not much better. But let's just say for sake of the exercise that Magcargo's skin is 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that translates into Celsius, but it's fucking hot. It's hotter than the surface of the sun. Let's just say you release Magcargo out of its Pokeball, do battle. 18,000 degrees is so hot that everything would instantly catch fire and incinerate. Everyone and everything around you would be dead instantly. That's it. It would probably just catch the whole world on fire. It probably burn through the very crust it's standing on. Impossibly hot. Impossibly hot. Even if its internal body temperature was 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's say it opens its mouth and lets out a flamethrower attack. That's still fire coming out at 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Out of its mouth would still instantly catch anything on fire that it just is near. It wouldn't even have to touch it. It would just catch it on fire and then it'd be gone. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. How this would be possible, I don't know. The only theory that lends like any kind of normalcy to the sanity is that the people filling out the Pokedex entries are like little kids, right? Like 10-year-olds on these journeys. So, of course, like when you're a little kid, you don't have any concept of reality. So when something's hot, you're just like, oh my God, it's as hot as the sun. Like you touch the stove and you're like, oh my God, it's lava. So of course, a 10-year-old filling out a Pokedex is gonna walk by a Mad Cargo and go, oh my God, it's hotter than the sun. It's 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my God. Not that I would know kids would know. I mean, I assume they'd know Fahrenheit, right? You learn that? I don't know. I've been out of school too long. I'm stupid. So I'm doing a video game podcast and talking about the scientific validity of Pokemon. What does that have to tell you? So, Magcargo's real. Everyone's dead. This planet's probably just burning by now. And, it burning now instead of burning 30 years down the road because, climate change is going to kill all of us. But I digress. So, yeah, your Pokedex Please entry for today is Magcargo. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. You got to see a tiny glimpse under the hood of the insanity that is Kingdom Hearts. This is me at probably like 5% of my power. As the date gets closer and I start achieving like around 100% of my power, it's going to be nuts. Any of you probably won't even be listening to the show by then anymore because it's just literally going to be a 24/7 live stream of just Kingdom Hearts conspiracy theories. And me just sitting in my gaming chair like the Ancient Aliens guy going, it's fucking aliens, obviously. And that has to be the only logical solution. But I really appreciate you guys listening. And if you can't tell, I hope my passion for this game is at least enjoyable to listen to because I am very, very excited for this. I thought I was out after 3. I thought I was content. But just seeing 4 and just the mystery of where it's going, I have enough invested that I'm okay continuing this journey, and it's something I want to continue because these games mean so much to me, so I will take more of them, and it's shaping up to be something very incredible, and I'm very excited to share my love of it with everybody, despite the fact of how much of a meme it is, so thank you guys so much. As always, where you can get a hold of me, social media, all that good stuff, is linked in the show notes of every single episode. So you can check that out if you really want to. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I have a personal Twitter. I have a show Twitter. Get on there. Check it out. Also, too, if you go back and listen to previous episodes where I've interviewed some incredible guests, their socials are also linked in the descriptions. Be sure to follow them. Shout them out. Everybody that I have had on the show and interviewed is super nice and just some of the best people. They're just willing to strike up. If you're a stranger, you just start talking to them about video games. They're willing to talk to you about video games because we all love this thing that we're part of a community here. So go follow them. Yeah, come, talk to us. We all talk to each other. It's really awesome community to be a part of. And I think that's going to do it for today, guys. As always, thank you for listening and remember to take care of yourselves.